Let's take a look at what liquidity tells us. Liquidity tells us what the next target is. We can know the next target once we know the difference between a liquidity run and a liquidity sweep, along with how to confirm how both work. It also tells us the trend, whether we are bullish, bearish, or consolidating, which help with direction and to avoid losses. Understanding the story of liquidity and what it's trying to tell you will save you from losses. Let's take a look into what is liquidity. Firstly, we have swing lows. These are liquidity. We also have swing highs. This is also liquidity. Swing highs and lows are known as swing points. Above and below these points, we have resting orders and stop losses. Now, what most miss or fail to understand is that this is also liquidity. This line shows a previous candle low. Below previous candle lows and highs, there is liquidity. As an example, let's look at this daily TF. This previous candle high. But if we going into lower time frames, we will see that it's a swing high. This shows us swing points from different time frames. The next thing we need to understand is what can liquidity do. So if we mark the swing high, if we now trade above this high, there are two things it can do. In this example, we are sweeping the high. Price has retraced above it and rejected like a resistance. Now after sweeping, where would we move to? The next point of liquidity. The swing low, this would make our new target. Let's look at some examples, as this happens so often that you won't believe. Next, we have the continuation. Instead of sweeping and rejecting the high, we continue in the same direction. This is called a run on liquidity. For example, before we were seeing sweeps of liquidity, now we will look at runs of liquidity. Where price starts to trade below the high, creating a retrace, the price runs the high. This means we can continue in the direction. While we are running liquidity, we can target the next highs or lows. Sweep versus run. Whenever we sweep a swing point, that means we are creating a reversal. We are turning around and rejecting, targeting the other side. When we run the high, we are creating a continuation to continue in the same direction. Here you will see bearish price action. But what stands out is this swing high. Once we trade above this trade high, we may not be clear at first on what PA will do. Will it sweep? Will it run? What we need to do as traders is wait, which at times is difficult, but that's parts of the game. We need to let price play out and develop a little, then it will give you the answers. Now in this example, we can see price rejecting where we may see the bearish continuation continue. But look what happens. Price continues to the up, creating a bullish candle. A bullish close above the high, and an engulfing fail, giving confirmation we are about to run liquidity. When we run liquidity, we know it's a continuation in direction. But a continuation to what? What are we continuing to? We are continuing to the next liquidity, which for example is the swing high above. So now we have ran the swing high. It is very likely we will run to the next target, which is the swing high. Now at the new swing high, again we may not know what PA will do, letting price play out. We can see the swing low will now be the source of liquidity, creating a short-term reversal, after sweeping the swing high and rejecting. So let's recap, what can liquidity do? A sweep is a reversal, where we target the previous low or high. Now when we run liquidity, it is a continuation, so we would target the next swing high or low, as it's a continuation. Meaning when we get to a swing point, we can either sweep or continue, knowing where our next target will be, once we have confirmed which possibility will play out. So let's go back to our example. Now Pa has come to the swing low. What are we going to do? This will be determined by whether we are going to sweep or run. So when we get to a swing point, we mark out both possibilities. We can either continue higher or lower, which will be determined via if we will run or sweep. So the question now becomes, are we going to run or sweep? How do we confirm this? By letting more candles develop, we get a picture, an understanding, and a confirmation of what price action is likely to do next.